Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Gulfstream Park here on Saturday. It is December the 31st, 2016. I'm going to look at the stakes races on today's program, but before I get onto that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections from racetracks across the world. Stakes races I'll be looking at are races 7, 9, 10, and 11. 7, 9, 10, 11 are the races. Let's get on to it. Starting off with race number 7 from Gulfstream. It is the Tropical Park Derby per $75,000. It's for 3-year-olds. We have a field of 13 3-year-olds traveling a mile and 1/16th on the turf course. Rail will be at 108 feet from its true position. There is a main track only of the 13 horse. Only 12 can run. Mile 16th. And my top pick in the spot will go to the 8 horse, number 8, Inspector Lindley. Gonna go 8, 12, 10, 9. 8, 12, 10, 9. Number 8, Inspector Lindley. 4 to 1, John Velasquez on the Striel Celt, trained by Shug McGahee. Last time out on October the 8th at Belmont Park, mile 8th on the Inner Turf Course in the Grade 3 Hill Print Stakes. Horse finished 6 by 3.5 lengths that day. It was closing up a tiny bit, but just had a very wide trip that day. They took this horse to the sideline, which I think was the right thing. I think this horse should be firing on all cylinders today. Start before September 3rd at Saratoga, mile 8th on the Inner Turf Course in the Great East Saranac. Horse won by a head at 7 to 1 as a little bit of an upsetter victory, beating Camelot Kitten, who won next start out in the Hill Prince. But this horse was had a little course altering in the stretch that day, but got up in time. Very nice victory. And then this horse finished third in the Grade 3 Kent Stakes at Delaware Park back in July by 3.25 lengths behind American Patriot. Just couldn't keep up with them. I think in this spot this horse should do well. First start off a layoff. Just looking at this field, it's a little bit wide open, but I think this horse could run well here today. Has been training at Payson. 4 funnel workout, 49 and 2/5 of a second, best workout of 3. Shug McGahee's been pretty quiet so far this meet. Out of 8 starts, he has no victories, but has 2 seconds. I think this could get him his first victory of the meet. So to recap my bets for race number 7 from Gulfstream Park, it's the Tropical Park Derby. Gonna go with the 8 horse here, Inspector Lindley. Gonna go 8, 12, 10, 9, 8, 12, 10, 9. So now we're going to head on to race number 9. We're going to skip race 8 and head on to race number 9. The 9th race is the, hopefully I said this right, I didn't say it, this might be pretty difficult to announce. It's the Via Borghese Stakes per $75,000 for Phillies, Mayhers, 3-year-olds, and upwards. We have a field of 12 horses traveling the distance of grounds of a mile and 3/16 on the turf course. A mile 3/16. They'll be using the outer portion of the turf course, which is 108 feet from its true position. And I show this diagram. Gives me a second to look down at my notes, so that's why, if you're wondering. They are traveling a mile 3/16. And my top pick in the spot will go to the 4 horse, number 4, Desiree Clary. I'm going to go 4, 7, 12, 1. 4, 7, 12, 1. Number 4, Desiree Clary, 4 to 1. Joe Bravo on this Christophe Clement trained 4-year-old filly. Last time out, November the 6th, here in New York at Aqueduct, a mile and a half in the Grade 3 Long Island Handicap. Horse finished third by half length that day. Was a little bit wide, but closed up. Needed a little extra kick, but I think this horse could have won if she had that extra kick. I think in this spot, cutting back in distance, this horse should be running a big one. Start before September 10th at Monmouth Park, mile 8th in the Grade 3 Violet Stakes. Horse finished 5th by 5 lengths. It just wasn't there. Didn't show up at all. It was disappointing 5th place finish. And then in the Grade 3 Y at Saratoga, mile and a half, August 6th. Horse finished 5th by 6 lengths that day behind Gozapa and Suffused. Again, was wide and really wasn't into it. Has one win here in the States. That was on July the 8th at Belmont Park, mile 3/8, Inner Turf Course, Optional 6-2 Claimer. Horse won by nose, 90 cents to the dollar favorite. Ran pretty well, but a little bit wide, but just got the nose bob in front. This horse had a very, before that start Belmont, 2015 and before, this horse was running in Europe, mainly in France and Germany. This horse had some very tough campaigns. This horse finished 5th in the German Oaks at Dusseldorf in August 2015, and the Prix-Diana Chantilly in 2015. This horse finished 4th by 2 lengths behind Star Seville and Physiocrate. That's a very tough Group 1 race. For this horse to finish 4th in that race was pretty good. I think this horse will have a good run here today. So I'm going to use this horse as a top pick. So to recap my bets for race number 9 from Gulfstream Park. Gonna go with the 4 horse. Gonna go 4-7-2-1. 4-7-12-1. 4-7-12-1. Guess what? That was 4-7-12-1. So now let's get on to race number 10 from Gulfstream Park. The 10th race is, it's for stayers, as they say. 10th race is the H. Allen Jerkens Stakes, purse $100,000 for 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 14 horses traveling 2 miles on the turf course. If this race is taken off the turf, it will be run at a mile and a quarter on the main track, which is something pretty, there's something a little fishy about that. The race is 2 miles, they're going to run it at a mile and a quarter if it's taken off the turf on the main track. So that's something that's just mind blowing. I know they can't run 2 miles on the main track. Well, they can actually probably run 2 miles on the main track at Gulfstream, but they don't want it. I don't know. I just find it weird that they're not going to run it at like a mile and 3/8. Why mile and a quarter? Why not even mile and 5/8? Something like that. But they're gonna take the distance down a whole 5.5, 6.5 furlongs, something like that. But hopefully this race does stay on the turf because if it's taken off the turf, this race is going to be the most difficult race in the year to look at. But my top pick in this 2 mile stayers race, I'm going to go to the outside to the 11 horse. Number 11, Montclair. I'm going to go 11-3, 10-9, 11-3, 10-9. Number 11, Montclair, 5-1. Edgar Prado is on the 6-year-old gelding. Last time out November the 9th here in New York at Aqueduct, a mile 3/8 in the optional 6-2 claimer. Horse finished second by 1.5 lengths behind Sadler's Joy, and the third place finisher made in Detroit is running back into this race. But this horse was wide and was closing up very well. Need a little extra ground. I think he's getting a lot of extra ground today. He should run a big one. Start before his 10th 17th at Belmont Park, mile 16th, optional 80 claimer. Horse finished 7th by 4 lengths that day. Was closing up that day, but again, I think it was a little bit too short. This horse has run a bit of a stayers kind of distance. August the 13th at Arlington Park, mile 11 16th in the American St. Ledger. Horse finished 4th by 5.5 lengths behind the big horse. His horse was wide, was closing up a tiny bit, but needed a little extra. If the big horse was in this race, I think he would be an automatic single because he looks like he's he's basically the only horse in America that can really run the longer distances. This horse has some light experience at the longer distances. I think he could handle it, but if you're playing the pick 4 or the pick 5 or the pick 6 or pick 3, double multi-race wager, I would probably go deep in this one. If I play it, I'm probably going to use all 4 horses I have in my superfecta. So, it's just a little bit of a difficult race. So to recap my bets for race number 10 from Gulfstream Park, it's the H. Allen Jerkens Stakes. Going to go with the 11 horse here, who is Montclair. Going to go 11-3, 10-9, 11-3, 10-9. So now let's get on to race number 11, the 11th race, the final race of 2016 at Gulfstream Park. It's the Tropical Park Oaks, per $75,000 for fillies 3-year-olds. We have a field of 14 horses traveling the distance of ground of a mile and 1/16 on the turf course. Mile 16th. The rail will be set at 108 feet from its true position, so just keep that in mind. But my top pick in this one, I'm going to go to the outside, to the 12 horse, number 12, Shannon. I'm going to go 12-10-5-2, 12-10-5-2, number 12, Shannon, 10-1. John Velasquez on this 3-year-old filly owned by Al Shakab, trained by Todd Pletcher. Todd Pletcher so far at the meet, in the short showing of the meet, is 49-17 at a 35% win strike rate, which is pretty amazing. But this horse is making his first start in the States, first start on Lasix, but hasn't started since July 27th at the Glorious Goodwood meet, mile and a quarter in the EBF Breeders' Series Handicap Stakes. Horse finished 4th by 5.25 lengths behind some very tough horses. He was closing up a little bit, but needed a little extra kick. I think with the Lasix today, I think this horse will run a big one. Start before July 16th at Newmarket, a mile and a quarter in the Green Sauls Gin Handicap Stakes, just basic handicap. Horse won by 1.25 lengths and ran incredibly well on that straight course of a mile and a quarter at Newmarket. It was the horse's first start in 2 months that day. Start before May 19th at Sandown Park, mile in the £1 Million Goal Handicap Stakes, basic handicap again that day. Horse finished 3rd by 1.5 lengths behind Mason and White Poppy. He kept going that day, needed a little extra ground. I think this horse could run a big one here today. Watch out for this one to upset. So to recap my bets for race number 11 from Gulfstream Park, It is the Tropical Park Oaks. Going to go with the 12 horse here, Shannon. Going to go 12, 10, 5, 2. 12, 10, 5, 2. So good luck to all and follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5. Good luck.